And welcome back to the Beaufort News. South Carolina State Senator Tom Davis is with us. Senator Davis, it's great to see you. Let's dive right into, we received money for our bridge, our Hilton Head Bridge from the state. So talk about how much and where the money exactly will be going.
Right. Thank you. It's great to be with you. Recently, it's been discussed there's a need to replace the 4 spans of bridges to Hilton Head. In fact, one of the spans is already structurally deficient. So we've been trying for the past several years to put together a financing package, and preliminary estimates to replace all 4 of the bridge spans is $240 million. And we've now got the financing plan in place to pay for that. First of all, you got $40 million that's set aside already by the South Carolina Department of Transportation to replace the bridge. You've also got $80 million you're going to raise through the penny sales tax that was passed by Beaufort County voters last fall. And then just recently, we got awarded $120 million by the State Infrastructure Bank to complete the financing package. So between the $120 million we just received from the state, the $40 million that the state already had set aside, and the $80 million locally that will raise through a penny sales tax, the financing piece is now in place. Now there's another track we're working on. We have to determine or decide as a community, what do we want this bridge to look like? What do we want its functionality to be? How are we going to mitigate the impacts on some historic African-American communities on the north end of the island? How are we going to make sure that the north end of the island just doesn't turn into, a giant traffic jam? So, there's 2 tracks to this. The financing track, which we've now got completed, and then there's the design, functionality, and location plan, right, which the people of Hilton Head will decide.
So, Senator Davis, I guess the big question here is, how long is all of this going to take? The planning, and we got the money now, so when possibly could we see construction begin on a new bridge?
I think what they're looking at is somewhere in the vicinity of 2022, 2023. So you're talking about a couple 3 years, okay, in regard to the bridge itself being started and then completed. Right now is when we're undergoing some of the community conversations. I met last week with a group of Native Islanders that were concerned about the impact on the Stony community and other African communities on the north end of the island. So that's where my focus is right now. Now that we got the $240 million set aside with this latest $120 million grant from the state, we need to focus on, as a community, what do we want this bridge to look like, and what do we want its functionality to be.
Very good, and I like that you're talking with all the various communities about that, so that everyone feels included in the final decision. So let's move on.
That's really important. I mean, This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for Hilton Head community to speak about something like this. So, we have to get it right. There can't simply be some engineers in Columbia coming up with some plans and then dropping the blueprints on us and saying, "Here, this is what you get." Right. This has got to be a project that the entire community embraces, and that's what I'm working on the next few months.
Very good. Also, you have been involved brought in DHEC in a partnership with our county to have recurring drive-through testing for COVID. So good job on that. Where are we, and do we have any more coming up?
Yeah, we had the General Assembly met in late June to decide how the $2 billion in the CARES Act federal funding for COVID-19 was going to be appropriated. And a substantial amount of that money was set aside for increased COVID-19 tests. And what I've been working on since then is setting up on a recurring basis these weekly drive-through testing events. We've already had 4 of them. There's another 4 that we scheduled all the way through Labor Day. The important thing is that people, if they want to know their status, if they're concerned about their status, if they think they might have been infected, that there is a readily available way for them to ascertain what their status is. And that's important for a couple of reasons. First of all, individuals need to take care of themselves and their families. And so if they test positive, they can take precautionary measures. But secondly, the more testing that we do as a state, the better understanding we have of the virus and its prevalence and how it spreads. And it helps us allocate our scarce resources in mitigating that spread. So it's really important. We have weekly tests set up now for every Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. On a recurring basis through Labor Day. And I update on my social media platforms periodically the exact locations.
Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, very good. Our time is up, so thank you again, Senator Tom Davis with the state of South Carolina, representing our community, our county. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Thanks for having me.